Hey everyone, welcome out to another new episode of a Nerd Named Mark podcast. See, I'm back. I'm doing the episodes. I've been busy up until this week. We're approaching Easter weekend, so that means I got time to do stuff. I got time to freaking record a podcast episode. I got time to pre-record some other episodes with some guests. I'm just like, man, I'm going to get so much stuff done. I'm going to be so efficient. So here I am. Now, there's no real topic as my kitten is literally just crunching out some dry food, right? And the way she eats, because she's so lazy, not lazy, she just likes to have fun with her food. She lays down, right? And she puts her paw on the dish so the food falls forward. So the dish is like upright. For those of you watching on YouTube, I'm explaining this. For those of you listening, the dish is now tilted at almost a 90-degree angle thanks to her paw. But as she's eating it, because she still moves her head, her collar is hitting the edge of the dish. Now, I'm not going to make her stop eating. It's a cat. She's hungry. But it does pick up on the audio, I noticed. And it's just a constant thing. Like, she's not eating those. The second I hit record, she's walking over and eating because of where my setup is. She always likes to be near me when I'm on the computer, whether it's eating or sleeping. But there's no real main topic. I'm going to be towards the end talking about Ghostbusters, the Frozen Empire, because I just saw that recently. I should actually get the trap out so I can show, because I got that popcorn bucket. I'm mad because there's no AMC theater near me, right? So I went to Regal, and I thought, even though it's the same exact trap, I thought I would get, like, the cool bucket thing. But I don't get the bucket thing. And I'm kind of sad about that. Like, because I thought, like, the light up LED bucket would come with this one. Apparently that was at AMC only. So I'm kind of heartbroken. But at the same time, I did buy this. Like, my wife was just like, you're gonna get that? I'm like, yeah, I need the bucket. She's like, all right. Sorry, I got indigestion, man. I got my brew doctor kombucha. So because it's springtime. It's getting nice out. Gotta take care of the physical body. Gotta make sure I'm healthy. If you're watching on video, I put on some pounds, okay? Listen, it's been a rough couple months, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I've been eating a lot of carbs, but I've also been doing a lot of high protein, low carb at the same time. And I've been very physically active. But I'm just saying, I've been eating a lot of Takis and a lot of cookies, okay? That's basically it. A lot of cookies, a lot of Takis, man. Like, I can't kick those Oreos, you know what I mean? But that's the point. Another thing is, I didn't do it in the last episode because I've been so busy, and the way my work schedule is, and then like dealing with traveling to the comic book shop and how their hours work. I haven't been to the comic book shop in a couple weeks, so I actually have a big ass comic book haul, like 30 plus comics that I will be going over today, as well as some games and everything else I'm working on. Because for those of you who don't know, the Dragon Ball Super Card Game Fusion Worlds dropped. I've been playing it on the PC client, but I did finally find one of the starter decks in person for Vegeta, even though I'm not a Vegeta player for my main. I will go over that after, who my leader of choice is. But that's it for all this stuff. Also, going into next week, April 1st, oddly enough, April Fool's Day, is actually the 1-year anniversary of when I launched my merch at onlyhenjins.com. Because I've been so busy, I only have 2 new designs to drop, but I was going to have all this other stuff going. I haven't had the time. So I'll at least drop those 2, and I'll do like a deal and stuff like that starting Monday, April 1st. But that's neither here nor there. It's time. Let's just jump right into comic books because I have so many, like, that this is gonna be a bulk of the episode. So those of you who are listening and watching, who started coming here for the comic book polls, me talking about the comics, this is for you because I got a lot. So I started boarding and bagging, and then I ran out of boards, but I still have bags left. And I don't get that, because the last time I bought boards and bags, I bought them both at the same fucking time. So I do not know how I ran out of bags, but I still have, or how I ran out of boards, but I still have bags. I don't understand how this works. It confuses me. But they're organized by publisher and also runs in order, so it's not going to be jumbled all over the place. So we're going to start with Boom Studios and Power Rangers. Now, I don't think I talked about it before. Previously, I did get the first issue of Power Rangers The Return. I did back the Kickstarter that I did a video about. I can't wait because I get the Power Rangers Pink hardcover and the Return hardcover, the Dan Mora stuff. That's honestly, like, I had to. I couldn't say no. That is a good freaking deal. Also, when I get to other comics, I got another Kickstarter to talk about. So first up, I got the second issue of The Return. I'm not getting any of the variant covers. I'm just getting one cover every time, whatever they put in my pull list, because I'm, like I said, I backed the Kickstarter, so I'm getting other goodies. So I got The Return number 2. It's pretty good. I haven't read the second one yet. I read the first one. I was intrigued. Amy Jo Johnson and Matt Hodson co-write it. And I was intrigued how a comic that goes 30 years after, I guess basically the first season, because it's before the transfer of power or anything like that, how, this would work out. And I got hooked on the first issue, especially towards the end. I was like, all right, now I'm curious what's going on. Speaking of Power Rangers, we got issue 117 actually for Dark Tower. Obviously, I got this cover right here. We had to get, that's a nice cover. But then also, I'm still getting the Undead Zombie covers. I've been getting all of them. Same with 118. Get the Phantom Ranger zombie on there. And then also Ranger Academy number 5. I want to like Ranger Academy. It's not bad. It's not great when you look at everything else that's Power Ranger comic book related coming out right now. I think it's out of all the, like, the Return, Necessary, Darkest Hour, and Ranger Cat, I think this is like the weakest of the 3 titles. But it's not bad. It's readable. I do enjoy it to an extent, but it's not one of those like I need to get the next issue. Like it's in my pull list. I'll read it, but it's not one of the driving forces of me going to my comic book shop. Now we're gonna go into Marvel. Now, oh, by the way, Darkest Hour is so great right now. Melissa Flores is killing it, and there's gonna be a lot of Melissa Flores. That name is gonna come up a lot in this episode, especially with the next one, Giant Size Spider-Gwen. Giant 50th. I had to get that. I've been getting into Spider-Gwen more. Like when the run first started back in 2015 with like Radioactive Spider-Gwen and this and that. That's like around the time frame the last time I really did read anything Spider-Gwen related. But then with Melissa Flores doing this, and then Spider-Gwen Smash number 4, which I also picked up. I like that cover, by the way. That is a good freaking cover. I've been really enjoying it. It's a fun read. I like the character. I think they're really cool. Another one, this was put in there, even though it wasn't on my list. But whenever number 1 comes out of anything like Spider-Man, like my top heroes, like Spider-Man, Green Lantern, obviously anything from Power Rangers, Blue Beetle, like there's certain characters, if there's a number 1 that comes out, they'll pull it for me. So they put the Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 number 1 in there. I'm gonna check it out. I'm not the biggest fan of anything symbiote related. I really am not. I think after the whole Venom with Donny Cates and like Venom Island and all this other stuff, I was kind of like burnt out on Venom. Anything symbiote, I was like, I don't need it. Like, get it out of here. But I do like Spider-Man, especially Spider-Man 2099. Like, I still have like the first issue of the original run of Spider-Man 91. Actually, I have most of them, 2099, and I really enjoyed it as a kid. I like the animated show, even though it like kind of failed. But we got more Spider-Man. Even though I bought it digital to read it because I couldn't wait, I did finally get my physical Ultimate Spider-Man number 2. And then recently released Ultimate Spider-Man number 3, which I didn't get the digital of yet, so I will be doing that. One issue I had, honestly, sidebar. I put down all Ultimate Universe stuff, and well, I did get the Black Panther, and I did get the Ultimate Universe and the Ultimate Spider-Man ones. They didn't pull Ultimate X-Men for me, so I ended up getting the second printing, which I'm okay with the cover. I don't really care about covers, honestly, for some stuff, but I'm excited to check that out. I'm not like the biggest X-Men fan anymore. I'm a Hickman guy. I really am. I think House and Power of X, I would still put that up there as like that was some of the best Marvels put out in that like year. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to check out Ultimate X-Men. I'm really curious about this Ultimate Universe. So I'm actually pulling everything in there to kind of get an idea of the whole entire world that's going on in the Ultimate Universe. But that's it for Marvel. It was a good Marvel haul. That's a lot. Hi, kid. Sorry, cat wants attention. Next up, we're going to go to DC. This is going to be quite the collection of great comic books to read, and then one that I'm going to do a separate video on. First up, I got issue 7 of Blue Beetle. I love Blue Beetle. This whole run from Trujillo has been great. If you liked the Blue Beetle movie or you read Graduation Day and you want to know everything, like, please go pick this one up. It's 7 issues in now. It's still very easy to get into. Go check it out. It is worth it. Like, I cannot say enough good things about the Blue Beetle run right now in DC. Speaking of good runs, I got issue 6 and 7 back to back of Green Lantern War Journal. Look at that cover. That is such a nice ass cover. And then here is issue 7 also. Dude, like the artwork and the covers on these have been great. DC, like I could say right now, everything I put on DC with the whole Dawn of DC and all that other stuff is still on my list. Between Johnson and Williamson, between like Ward, like Green Arrow and everything, like great writing, great stories going on. And then also we have Green Arrow number 9. I had to bring up Green Arrow, and then also Green Arrow number 10. This one, obviously, this is when I ran out of boards, and yeah. Next up, DC's still going. All right. I got 2 more. I got issues 6 and 7 of Wonder Woman from Tom King. Great story. This is probably one of my favorite things coming out of DC right now. I love this cover right here. Like, I would get that signed and I would put that on my wall. And then here's issue 7, the Women's History Month cover. I had to go with that one. It was a nice cover. I really actually liked it. And I do believe we're nearing the end. This is Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong number 6. I've been really enjoying this whole entire run. I'm trying to show there we go. I've been really enjoying this run. Yeah, I've been adamant. I've been saying it constantly. I'm not a big fan of crossovers of different genre type, and Godzilla with Kong and Justice League, it's actually been working really good. I'm not just saying that because I have the cool Roaring comics, which I did a video of, and thank you guys for checking that out a few months ago. And rounding out DC, this is the one where this is something I'm going to do a separate video on because I did review the first 2, and while some people on social media labeled me certain phobe because I didn't love the comic, I was very fair and balanced of it as a Green Lantern fan. But I do believe this is the final issue of Alan Scott Green Lantern. I love the cover, by the way. This artwork, this is great. The Red Lantern on there, like this is a great fucking cover. Like honestly, it really is. And I think every comic book, regardless of who's writing it, what the story is, deserves a fair and balanced review. That's why I review comics the way I do, and not often, unless it's something major. Now, this has been a rough run. It's only 5 issues. I haven't read the last one. I will after I record this. I think it's grossly unfair to, I had comments on my first review or my second review where people were literally like, oh my God, like this is like the first honest and fair review I've seen of this. People are either overly hyping it up, saying it's great, or, people are just being overly negative because Alan Scott is gay in this. And I was like, I don't care if Alan Scott is gay in a comic book. I really don't. I like Green Lantern. I just want to see some Lantern shit. That's all I care about. I like the gender, race, sexual orientation, any of this stuff about a comic book character does not actually affect me spending my money on a comic book. What does is the story. I've dumped very popular stories because I didn't care for them personally, but they end up going on to be popular. You know, I think like during DC, the whole like after Blackest Night, Brightest Day, New 52s, I got burnt out. Stopped. Then Rebirth started. I picked a Rebirth. I was like, some of this is good. I just stopped pulling all stuff. I've done that with Marvel constantly, and it has always been because one, the stories just aren't doing it for me, and not gonna spend my money on something I don't want to read. I'm not collecting anymore just to collect, you know. All right, I'm lying because like with The Walking Dead, I stopped reading at like issue 105, but I kept collecting them because I still have a complete run from issue 1 to the end, all first print. That's besides the point. That was a special case because I want to sell that set. Make me offers, please. I need to free up some space, and I don't want them. I want money instead. But when it comes to like comics, like, you know, there's a reason why I'm not hyping up every comic that's coming out on social media. When I'm talking, you see the lists. If you go back and you watch all my videos, like I even went in like depth of why I was cutting stuff out of my pull list, and I've always had my justifiable reasons, and they have never been something as shallow and close-minded as gender, race, or sexual orientation of a character. That will never be a dead set reason. Those three things will never be reasons why I stop reading a comic book. Because I see it as, if you're doing this stuff, it makes a new spin on a character, yes, and I will curiously check it out. That's why when they had was it the Superman, was it Son of Kal-El? That's why when I was reading that, like I stopped pulling that because I was like, there was no action, there was no Superman. It was a lot of talking and a lot of relationship stuff. And I'm like, get it, you gotta have the balance. But like when I'm 6-7 issues in and there's been like one fight and barely, I'm just like, man, it's too much. I don't want to read this anymore, you know? So it had nothing to do with, you know, the Son of Kal being bi, or like it was honestly just wasn't enough for me to be like, I'm gonna spend money on this and read it and have it on my pull list and get excited to go buy it. Like all these comic books here, like I'm like, oh man. I mean, obviously, except for Ranger Academy, I'm just like, man, I need the new issue. I can't wait to go read this. I need this now. Like, you know, very rarely do I buy digital and physical, but sometimes I can't wait, you know. But that was my sidebar. DC's over. That's the rest of my DC stuff. Now we're going into Image, which means the Massiverse. Now, sidebar again. A lot of sidebars, I know. I was sent, and I did my post, and I talked about it before, but I did get volume 5 of Radiant Black sent to me from Black Market Narrative, Kyle Higgins and the team over there at the Massiverse, which I thank you. This is so good. This starts the Catalyst War. And I think this one only goes up to, this goes up to from 25 to issue 27.5. It's available now. It came out on February 27th. So yeah, go pick that up. And first off, Melissa Flores, this is the last time I get to mention her name. The Dead Lucky is now over for now. With the Dead Lucky number 12, I had to get this cover. Like, I don't know, something about this cover was the one that I was like, this is the cover I need to round out my set. I have every issue. I have the first trade. I can't wait for the second trade to come out. This is such a good run. The fact that Melissa Flores has their hand in so many cookie jars, writing so many different stuff, and able to keep the quality there. The Dead Lucky is a sleeper. Like, honestly, like I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but it's one of the ones where it's like, man, when you read it though, and the recipes at the end of each issue, like, I mean, come on. That is one of the best newer comics I've read in the last year or so that has started, you know, especially not just the Massiverse, just in general. I think the Dead Lucky is great, has a little bit of something for everybody, so definitely go check that out. And the Massiverse isn't over. No One number 8 from Kyle Higgins. Another one where I'm just like, man, my favorite thing about this run is just, it's good, it's well written, there's a lot of mystery to it, but then the companion podcast, yeah, every time I get a new issue, I'm like, or if I see the podcast episode drop on my feed, I'm like, no, I gotta wait till I read the issue. Most of the time, if I know I don't have time to go home, I'll I'll get a digital of it, or I'll just wait until I get the physical. Then I read it, and then right after I'm done reading it, I literally will boot up the latest podcast episode that goes with it and listen to it because it's just such a immersive world being able to do that, and it's great. So if you haven't, go check out No One. It's 8 issues in. It's worth it. Next up, so I have Radiant Black 28 and 28.5, the regular covers right here that connect. These ones were also sent to me from the Black Market Narrative and Kyle Higgins and all them. So I think you guys, these were great issues, by the way. I'm still Team Marshall. Now, these ones I bought because even though I get comics sent to me for the Massiverse, I still buy out of pocket. I got the Walking Dead connecting variants for the anniversary, and I'll if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I'll put better photos up so you can see them. I love these issues. I like that says I believe in Radiant Black on the side of the hospital. Um, but yeah, this is definitely one of the cooler combo covers. So I had to pick those up. But that is it for Massive stuff and Image Comics. Now we're gonna go into some indie stuff, some Dynamite, some Dark Horse, some IDW. First up, I didn't even know this was a thing. It's now on my pull list. We have Ghostbusters Back in Town from Dark Horse. I do believe I haven't read it, but given based on the cover and how it looks, I think this is gonna bridge that time frame from the end of Afterlife going into the beginning of Frozen Empire. Are they really gonna do freaking landscaping right outside? Bro, it's like 1 in the afternoon. They usually do this stuff in the morning. This is gonna be annoying. I'll have to do a lot of audio editing. Next up from Dark Horse again, we have the Stranger Things issue 404 of the Voyage. So this ends this run. I'm going to be reading all of those because there's only 4 issues. So like I'll check out the first issue and just see how it is, and then I wait until all 4 drop, and then I read them all. Another one that I completely forgot was on my pull list was from Dynamite. We have Thundercats. Look at that cover. Look at that. Oh, that art style. I love Thundercats. I'm a big fan. I got the Lino all the way up there on top of my shelf on display. Little statue that I got in New York. I love it. And rounding out the last ones, we got some Godzilla. We have issue 4 of Godzilla War for Humanity. That one's been an interesting run. Like, I don't know how I feel about it because it's entertaining, but it's like, I don't know. The fact that we keep getting all these one shots from IDW, those have been really doing it for me because we have Mothra versus Mogira for Rivals. And look at that cover. I'm trying to get my like spotlight or my key light not in the way. Such a good cover. And then lastly, one of my favorite things they do, these one shots. And the best thing about IDW, they're one shots. They give you better, like this one, not so much. This is regular comp, but some of the bigger ones, the biggie, they give you the harder cover and better paper stock, like a lot better paper stock, and they're still only $7.99. So this is the best of Destroya. Now you know I love Godzilla vs. Destroya. So this one I was excited to come out, and then my favorite thing is at the end we have the Here There Be Dragons trade advertiser for that Godzilla one that's coming out in April. I'm going to be picking that up. I got the individual comics. I thought it was really cool to see, Godzilla in the time frame of like Napoleon and stuff like that and pirates. Like I thought that was a really cool time frame to put Godzilla in. So that trade I'm definitely going to get because I read the individuals, and I don't always get trades for a lot of stuff. I usually do for Godzilla though. And anything from the Massiverse, and then I always get a lot of the Marvel not Marvel, DC crossover like events. I always get those in trades because a lot of them I don't read. Like that, what was that other one, the Night one, Night Terror? Like I didn't read any of that. I'm gonna pick that up in trade format. Same with the most recent run in Marvel that led to the Ultimate Universe. That old, I know it was an Ultimate Fallout because that was the old one. I forgot what it was called, but I'm gonna be getting that one as a trade as well. But yeah, that's it for comics. So yeah, I briefly mentioned that I've been playing Dragon Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion Worlds. I've been really enjoying. I like card games. Obviously, there's no lie. If you go back to older episodes, I do play a lot of the PC clients for a lot of games, but I've done a lot of, not recently, but I used to do a lot in-person Pokemon tournaments at like my local comic book shop and card shops. Um, in the past, I've done Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh. I do want to do Digimon tournaments because I love the Digimon card game. Like I have a lot of cards. I have a few decks and this and that, but it doesn't seem that even though Digimon is popular, not a lot of my shops do Digimon tournaments, and when they do, it's like I'm not available to go to them because of work and stuff. But the Dragon Ball card game, I've been playing the regular one that came out, the Dragon Ball Super one that came out a couple years ago, or more than a couple years ago, and Fusion World is a new version of it that has a PC client. Um, I think it's a lot easier. It's very easy to pick up and play this one. Um, and so I saw how the decks work after playing the PC client for a couple weeks, and I was like, texting my friends like, hey, you should check out this Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World. It's got a PC client, but I saw that tournaments were popping up around my area and a lot of card shops and comic shops, and I was like, well, let me hunt down some cards. And then I saw some prices online, and I was like, that is atrocious. So my go-to is either my local comic book shop or Target. And so I just happened to be at Target, and they had a whole bunch of the Vegeta starter decks, and I was like, all right, I like that, I'll get that, even though I don't play Vegeta. Right now, I use the Brawly starter deck because who doesn't? Green is OP in that game. But then I was able to, because I got very lucky with card packs in game. I made a Universe 7 Goku deck, and that's been kind of good for me win wise. I mean, I do lose a lot. But I do plan on streaming on Twitch a lot of Dragon Ball Fusion or Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion Worlds. I do plan on streaming that a lot on Twitch. I'll probably make highlights and VODs for YouTube. I still got to do that with my Yokai Watch playthroughs that I've been doing. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting back into like a TCG because I stopped playing Pokemon. Sorry, I got messages. Um, yeah, all right. Now I got some guests for some other episodes. So I'm trying to do some scheduling. And I need to like clean up because I look haggard as shit. So you guys watch me on YouTube. Look at it. This is okay. Mark worked like a ridiculous amount of hours at work the last couple weeks and just doesn't care like at all. But yeah, so Pokemon I stopped playing because the reseller market ruined everything, where all the stores were being cleared out, and I play not just online. I would play in person, and I couldn't because every time new sets come out, new rules come out, certain cards get banned, older sets, or get put into expanded. And so like I'm like, no, it sucks if you want to be a tournament player who's active currently, you need to be able to get the current cards. Now it's not as bad, but there was that time frame where you couldn't get cards anywhere, so I was like, you know what? Like maybe it's time to hang it up. Like I still have a couple of my decks which are not tournament regulation anymore because it's been like 2 years, yeah, a little bit over 2 years. So, and I stopped playing online because I was just like, man, it was just frustrating. Because if I play on online and I know it's online only, that's fine. But knowing I could go out in person and play tournaments, I would much rather go in person and play a tournament than to just play online all day. That's just me personally. I know some people like it the other way around. Me, no, not so much. I like going out, playing these games at tournaments local, sitting across from my opponent, chit chatting, and just having fun. I don't take it too seriously, even if I'm winning or losing. I just, I'll crack jokes and just have fun and be like, yo, like, what's your favorite? Like, why does Future Trunks in the BoJack movie have the best drip out of any Dragon Ball character? Type of thing. Like, I'll just have idle conversations and play. There's something, but a lot of people take Pokemon seriously, especially like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh. So like, I think I had more fun playing Pokemon to an extent. But I want to play like the Dragon Ball game in person, and knowing that there's tournaments and knowing that how easy it is to build a deck, how viable even a starter deck is at tournaments is really entertaining. Because like I played with just a Vegeta starter deck and I did all right. As more people start playing the game and the meta starts getting more warped and figured out, it'll be different. But at least the starter decks are balanced enough where on any given game you could win if you play smart, you know? So I really enjoy it. So that's like definitely, if you haven't already, go check out the Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion Worlds. I'm gonna be trying to hunt down the other three decks because it was Broly, Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza were the first four decks. So I'm really hopeful I can get some the other three and then find some packs somewhere because even my comic book shop didn't have any, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna get them eventually," and I'm like, "All right." I was like, "If you do, set some aside for me just to let me know." I'm always up to, um, you know, that's it. So, okay. Now, so to end out everything, I'm going to be talking about Ghostbusters, The Frozen Empire, because me and the wife just saw it Thursday night, and she was kind of on the fence after seeing it if she enjoyed it or not. She said Afterlife was better. I don't think she really liked it. I mean, she did because it's Ghostbusters, but I don't think she like loved it. Like, let's face it, like Afterlife was really good. Ghostbusters 1 and 2 were just great. I know a lot of people had their issues with 2. I was a kid, so I actually saw 2 before the first one as a kid, and I didn't understand half the jokes. But going back as an adult and watching them, I was like, they became my favorite. When I was a kid, obviously the things I had was like the real Ghostbusters animated series and like TMNT and stuff like that. So I think why I like this movie so much is that it felt more like they drew from the real Ghostbusters animated show and less from, all right, this is a sequel to Afterlife, which is a sequel to Ghostbusters 1 and 2. So this felt more of the real Ghostbusters episode as a movie. I think it suffered a lot from too many characters because bringing back like Podcast and the other girl, I forget her name, from Afterlife, I was like, all right, well, we already have the whole family and Paul Rudd. Now we have all these. Dan Aykroyd's back. Everyone else is. Ernie Hudson's back. Bill Murray really wasn't in it much, which I was shocked because I thought he was gonna be actually in there a lot more than he was. There's a fire truck going by. But I think there's too many characters, too many different plot points going on. I forget a lot of names. I'm bad with names, especially because like I'm doing a lot of other content right now. The daughter, her having a whole story arc where she felt like isolated and alone because she's 15. She got kicked out of being a Ghostbuster, and so she becomes friends with a ghost who's working with an evil person to trick them. I think all that stuff kind of dragged out a little bit too much. I know a lot of people were reading into it and thinking it was a relationship thing. I think it was one of those ones like I see it as the Casper situation. Remember Casper from the 90s that had Christina Ricci in it and Devon Sawa and this and that? I see it as her wanting a friend and she, based spoilers, becoming a ghost to hang out with her. I see that as the same thing when Casper was trying really hard to become a human to go to the party with Christina Ricci's character. I see it from that standpoint. Like, you know, having a friend, you know, if stuff was subtly hinted at this and that, that's fine. If you want to read into it and that's your opinion, I think I didn't read too much into it. I think there's moments of it that I thought were really great. I like the chess playing scene was good. I just think for some odd reason, like it just the pacing of it kind of just threw off everything else. And the main villain person, meh, I didn't really care for that. We got that one dude. I always forget his name, and I love him because he's hilarious, and I think he's funny. He was in the Eternals, and he played like a firebringer or something like that, and he could maybe like his comedy and his timing, and like almost like his sarcasm, even though it wasn't really sarcasm, his just tone and body language, like stole the show in every scene he was in. I thought he was hilarious. Especially having him sitting across from Bill Murray and that their banter back and forth was just so good. I was like, I like this. but I can turn off the biasness and say there were a lot of issues with the film, but I did like it still. I think it's it opens the door for them to do more films and more projects and kind of keep it with the real Ghostbuster style. Would I like a legit, like real, like almost like a Ghostbusters 1 or 2, or even Afterlife, that tone of a film? Yes, because this one, I don't, even though they tried to be serious and have this threat of like the world ending, this and that, I didn't feel it like I did in the previous films. This time I was like, oh, but it was still a great movie. I still really enjoyed it. It's definitely one I'll definitely end up getting on 4K Blu-ray and having the collection with my other Ghostbuster, films, and I'll definitely, you know, I'll definitely watch it again easily. I could. Would I watch it at theaters again? No, because we have other films coming out. Because I got to go see the just unhinged train wreck that is gonna be Godzilla cross Kong, X Kong. Like that movie just looks like a dumpster fire. If it was a bunch of dumpsters on fire on a train that crashes into another train, like it just looks like a disaster, and I want to see it. But then there's some horror movies too I want to see, like The First Omen and was it Late Night with the Devil? Like there's a lot of like there's some other stuff I want to see. So am I going to see this again in theaters? Definitely not. Um, would I still try and get the Slimer popcorn bucket and all these ones? Yeah, I probably would. I do kind of want to get the AMC bucket attachment because it fits on this one apparently. That's what I heard. Or I might just buy an AMC one outright online on like Mercari or eBay or something. I don't really care. Or I'll just buy it when I go see another movie. I'll just go see Godzilla in Kong and just freaking buy the Ghostbusters light up popcorn because I will go to AMC. AMC, like I just live closer to two theaters that are AMC, and AMC's like a 15-20 minute drive in the other direction. But I would go to AMC just to get that. I want the purple light up attachment so bad. I really do. But that's really it. That's it. Like, that's it. Comics. We got some card game talk. Ghostbusters. Um, Let me know if you're watching on YouTube. If you saw Ghostbusters, what you thought of it. What other movies are you checking out? You're gonna check out Dragon Ball Super Card Game with comics. All that stuff for the YouTube listeners, for the audio listeners. Thank you guys, man. I saw the numbers of the return episode, and damn, did y'all miss me or something? Because like, I haven't seen. The numbers are really good, but like from a retention standpoint, I think the return episode had more listeners than the last episode I did. So I'm always okay with that. That means, So if you haven't already, go follow the podcast on Spotify. I'm pushing Spotify more than the other platforms just because I host it through Spotify, so I get better analytics. You can interact with the show better. You can do Q&As, leave, comments. So if you're on Spotify, leave a little rating, maybe a comment or two, or even Apple Podcast, and I'm even on Good Pods and all this other stuff. So whatever podcast listening platform you're on, go ahead and leave a review. But if you do have Spotify and you're listening on the platform, at least can you go follow the show on Spotify? I noticed I got like a little bit over a dozen new followers on Spotify. So I was like, oh, that's a nice jump. So I appreciate all of you guys so much. That's it. This is a Nerd Named Mark podcast. I thank you guys for listening. My name is Mark, and I'm a nerd.